He utterly hated Gregory Peck. Now we know the reason why those words now echo across the annals of Golden Era Hollywood as the truth finally emerges from decades of guarded silence and polite avoidance, and what at first may seem like simple professional jealousy unfolds into a complex web of betrayal, ideological conflict, and emotional wounds that never healed. The man who harbored this deep resentment toward Gregory Peck was none other than Richard Widmark, a fellow titan of mid-century cinema known for his villainous roles and intense demeanor who, despite sharing the screen and social circles with Peck, never forgave him for a string of perceived slights that started as early as 1947 when both were rising stars under the 20th Century Fox banner. Peck, tall, dignified, and classically handsome, was seen by the studio heads as the ideal American male, a poster boy for honor and decency, while Widmark, more rugged and morally ambiguous in his performances, often got typecast as the heavy or the antagonist, and it burned him deeply when producers bypassed him for dramatic leads, choosing instead to cast Peck in films that required moral nuance and depth. The real breaking point, according to those close to Widmark, came during the production of The Big Country in 1958, a film both actors starred in, where Peck's role as the noble protagonist drew all the critical acclaim, while Widmark's character originally promised a more complex arc was rewritten into a more two-dimensional role. Allegedly at Peck's behest after he expressed concern that Widmark's charisma might overshadow the film's moral message. This behind-the-scenes maneuver reportedly sent Widmark into a rage. He called Peck a snake in saint's clothing, and privately accused him of manipulating scripts and directors to secure his image as the untouchable hero. The hatred only deepened over the years, especially as Peck's star rose not only in Hollywood but in politics, with his involvement in the Academy, the American Cancer Society, and even President Lyndon B. Johnson's Council on the Arts, and Widmark, more cynical, more private, viewed all of it as insincere self-promotion masked as virtue. Their wives, Veronique Peck and Jean Hazelwood, reportedly exchanged barbs at social events, and several of Widmark's letters to friends and family reveal a steady stream of resentment, calling Peck a marble statue, a man who lives for applause, and accusing him of betraying fellow actors by lobbying for awards he didn't deserve. Despite their shared history and occasional on-screen collaborations, the two men were emotionally estranged, often seated at opposite ends of industry dinners, never pictured together unless strictly necessary, and the underlying tension was palpable to those who knew them. When Widmark turned down a role in To Kill a Mockingbird, a decision he later regretted, he blamed Peck for poisoning the well with producers and directors, and when Peck won the Oscar for that same film, Widmark reportedly didn't applaud. Even in later years, as the world mourned Gregory Peck's passing in 2003, Widmark remained silent, offering no tribute, no comment, just a stony silence that spoke volumes. When interviewed about Peck shortly before his own death in 2008, Widmark simply said, "Some men are born actors, others are born performers." Greg was a performer, a backhanded remark that, while subtle, encapsulated decades of bitterness. It wasn't about a single moment or a public scandal, it was about a slow-burning accumulation of disappointment, philosophical dissonance, personal betrayal, and the painful feeling of being constantly overshadowed by someone who, in Widmark's eyes, had stolen the light without deserving it. This feud, shrouded in civility yet simmering in silence, reveals the darker side of Hollywood's golden glow where smiles hid scorn and handshakes disguised hatred, and in the case of Richard Widmark and Gregory Peck, it was a war of souls that ended only in death. That's why, when the curtain finally lifted on this long-buried truth, we understood fully he utterly hated Gregory Peck, and now, after so many years of mystery, we finally know the deeply personal, irreconcilable reasons why.
Please don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon.